Last time we discussed my dream voice cast for the first season of Winx Club, because it's quarantine, like what else can we do? And now, given these are actually very easy to make and much less stressful for me, let's discuss my picks for the new characters of Season 2, because literally everyone kept asking about Aisha, despite me saying it was for Season 1. Oh well. Also, because it was brought up, the reason I'm not going for Sinaloom voices here is threefold. On the one hand, because it's my favorite dub, I am trying to keep myself from relying too heavily upon it. Secondly, while I love many of their performances, I feel there are other actors who, with better direction, can fit the characters better. And third, I'm going with actors who are more prominent in the American voice acting community, given, well, that's where I live. Feel free to make fun of my country, because I do all the time. Please help, it's a goddamn mess, it's on fire. And one more addendum to the last video. It has been pointed out to me that Saladin's Nick actor sadly passed away a few years ago. I was not aware, but I just wanted to say that I very much value his performance, and I hope his loved ones have been doing well since his passing. As for who else I would cast in the role, I am not quite sure. I might address that in a future video, but for right now I'd rather just leave that part of the topic there for now. And to begin, who better to talk about than the sixth Winx? The Fairy of Fluids, the Princess of Andros, and the one character the comments on my last video would not shut up about despite it being only for Season 1. Yes, Aisha. And for Aisha, since I am barring Lucinda Davis as my automatic pick, I'm sorry Lucinda, you are a queen, I went with Mela Lee.
I took a class, it was like a sampler class, okay. And every weekend we would go through the different forms of voiceovers, so one weekend animation, next weekend commercials.
Just like Flora and Musa, it was important to have a voice actress whose background matched the character she portrays, and that led me to Mela Lee, who actually voices Tiki in Miraculous Ladybug. Obviously, she wouldn't be using her Tiki voice for Aisha, that would just be strange. But I think Mela's normal voice would really suit Aisha as she goes from the confident but reclusive loner to the strong young woman she becomes thanks to her friendship with the other Winx. Now, originally I was gonna keep David Faustino as Helia, but one of the comments from last video actually had a great suggestion. Neith
Think back to when we were all at Beacon. Would you say you ever did anything foolish or embarrassing? Or do you think you were perfect?
So, thank you, Glacier Lord, thank you. You are the true MVP. Neith's been a fantastic voice actor for Ren, and given Helia is pretty chill himself, it seems like an obvious choice. Not to mention that since Helia speaks more and is an artiste, it would give Neith more room to characterize his performance. Now we move on to the Pixies, beginning with Erica Mendez as Lockette.
Demons run rampant in the Outlands, and yet the Abbey has explicitly chosen not to come to their aid.
Erica has provided the voice of Eleanor Hume in Tales of Berseria, and Sailor Uranus in the Viz dub of Sailor Moon. Of course, Erica's performance here would ideally be closer to her Eleanor voice, if a bit lighter, but I think she would be able to capture Lockette's fear of everything pretty well. Now, while we're keeping Hynden Walsh as Nickelodeon Amore and Lisa Ortiz as 4Kids Digit, since they actually really fit their respective roles, we're going to be having Christine Marie Cabanos as Chata. Initially, I only knew Christine as Sailor Saturn, again from Sailor Moon's Viz dub. A friend recently got me into Kill la Kill. Side note, holy fuck, that show is wild. And there, Christine voices the ever-energetic, ever-positive Mako Mankanshok.
I know for a fact that yes, you are not inferior to Lady Safsky. Your boobs are way bigger than hers. Way bigger. I know, because I saw them.
Tell me that this is not a perfect fit for Chata. Next up, Sharon Millet as Toon.
You steal an innocent girl's pure heart, and as if that weren't enough, you then mistake her for me. I'm offended by your stupidity.
Sharon voices Sailor Venus in the Viz dub of Sailor Moon. Look, I love Sailor Moon, okay? And that dub has really great actor. You can love both things. Magical girl shows can coexist, thank you. Anyway, Sharon's high-pitched voice could really suit Toon's character as the stuck-up pixie of etiquette who really needs to calm down. Now as for Piff, I don't fucking know. She's a baby with, like, no lines. You could honestly cast anyone for her and you would be good to go. Same for Glim. So, actually, maybe Mela Lee could use her Tiki voice for Piff. And maybe Glim? Maybe? I don't know. Have fun with that, comments. Moving on. Moving on to the other Pixies, we begin with Katie Leigh as Livi, aka Sailor Iron Mouse.
This is too actually have no idea, do you? But I do. So then, want to know the truth about Saya's big secret?
Livi is very forgetful and absent-minded, but ultimately well-meaning. And while Iron Mouse herself was not the most pleasant person, her voice could definitely fit Livi. Jolly, meanwhile, would be voiced by Erica Lindbeck.
No, Ma! Like soggy shoe or doggy do, or call me any of those things and I'll turn you into a froggy stew!
I previously cast Erica as Murda, but while I usually don't like having repeating voices, Erica's performance for these two characters would likely vary enough to appease my overstressed self. Just more of her Moggy-Loo voice, maybe. Now for everyone's favorite pixie of arthropods and ultimate cosplayer, Zing. For her, I would go with Christina V, as her Marinette voice for Miraculous Ladybug I feel would suit Zing rather well.
Don't worry, I'm no stranger to disasters. Besides, there are still a few left.
That, and the fandom could go nuts with Zing doing Ladybug cosplays. I need this in my life. And finally, the 4 Elder Pixies, beginning with Erica Schroeder as Concorda.
Every fairy animal, even the smallest one, may have a talent that keeps the whole magic universe in balance.
Oh, so many Ericas in voice acting, wow. Anyways, Erica Schroeder voiced Daphne, as well as other minor characters like Galatea and Maya in the 4Kids dub, along with Farragonda in the Duart dub. So having her here would serve as a cute little Easter egg. That and Erica's Farragonda voice would actually work quite well for Concorda. Next up, Grey Delilah as Discorda.
With each new year comes a crop of young students aspiring to fine-tune their craft and sharpen their minds.
Discorda doesn't really have many lines at all, so I don't mind having Grey Delilah potentially doing her Griffin voice here. And since Athena has even less lines, let's go with Carrie Walren doing her narrator voice.
The trick sought revenge on the Winx by targeting a newly corporeal Daphne.
And for the final pixie, Rachel Lillis as Nymphaea.
I demand you leave Pixie Village at once!
Again, Rachel is a veteran Winx actress serving as Farragonda in the 4Kids dub. And it also works because Rachel actually did voice Nymphaea in that dub as well, so yeah, the Elder Pixies all get Easter egg actresses. God bless. Now, onto a voice y'all are probably super excited for. Lord Darkar. Now this pick I am very, very proud of. Ron Perlman. If that name does not sound familiar, but you were a fan of Teen Titans when you were younger, before the world fell apart, prepare yourself.
On the contrary, Tara. I know everything about you. I know why you're always running away. I know your secret, little girl.
Slade as Darkar. Hell fucking yes. Ron would be able to give Darkar both a chill yet intimidating voice for his normal speech, as well as a genuinely terrifying yell when she get comfortable. However, we will be keeping Michael Dorn as Avalon. I actually loved his performance as Avalon in the Nickelodeon special. Not his mediocre performance as Darkar. We don't talk about that.
For this exercise, I need your absolute trust.
Now, moving into the kingdom of Downland, we've got Faye Mata, aka Sailor Aluminum Siren, as Princess and later Queen Amencia.
I'll be back to deal with you after I come up with my next plan. That's so mean! I saw it with my own eyes. Why would I lie?
Amencia's a very self-involved ruler who actually kicks a lot of ass, surprisingly, and I think Faye's voice could fit that persona well. And same for Ben Diskin as Sponsis.
Her name's Makoto Kino, and the word is that she's incredibly strong. Turns out that she was kicked out of her last school for fighting, so if I were you, I'd keep your distance.
Ben's got a great vocal range, and his meeker, more timid performance would definitely suit Sponsis. And for the other people of Downland, we've got William Orendorff, aka Hazel, as Abrupto.
You don't like me. You have no reason to like me. But you don't have to like me to get the results you want.
Jason Douglas, aka Jacques Schnee, as Amencia's father in Nervous.
How anyone could possibly find that to be sound logic is beyond me.
And Jessica G, aka Maltran from Tales of Zestiria, and Pets from Sailor Moon, as her mother Foda.
Now, messenger, the royal order, if you please. We have a war to start.
Now, this choice might surprise some of you. We see glimpses of Oritel and Miriam this season, so we need some voices for them. Ordinarily, I would go for Josh Keaton as King Oritel, but given I want to keep Josh as Valtor, it feels kinda cheap to have a repeating voice like that. especially when the performances for each character are so similar, at least to my ears. And so I decided to recast Oritel. And I do not know how y'all are gonna feel about this one, especially given my hatred of the Dubbing Brothers version. Ezra Weiss as Oritel, aka Movie Oritel.
Bloom is our daughter, but you are the ones who raised her. I envy you.
Okay, before you all get the pitchforks and the torches, hear me out. Most of the actors in these dubs are wonderful. Usually the issue lies in their casting and direction. Take Cindy Robinson. She is a phenomenal actress, but as Bloom, under this direction, she's, questionable. But Ezra's actually pretty good as Oritel. He excels at portraying Oritel as this dignified, self-righteous young king who's kinda too hot-headed for his own good.
You honestly thought that would work? I already defeated your puppeteers once.
And I actually really like that Ezra's performance is a bit more high-pitched than you might initially expect from this type of character. It helps the voice stand out. Moving on to Queen Miriam, I decided on Monica Rial, aka Sienna Khan from Ruby, as well as Ceres from Tales of Berseria.
I will not allow humanity to push us down without pushing them back. But the destruction of the Huntsman Academies crosses a line.
I've always envisioned Miriam as a true, bona fide badass. Like, if you fuck with her husband, or especially her kids, Miriam will burn you alive. She's loving and nurturing, but also unafraid to call people out on their bullshit. And for that, I can think of no one better for the role than Monica. Queen Samara also gets some dialogue here, and for her, I'm gonna keep Candy Milo from the Nick dub.
Still keeping tabs on Sky, are you, Diaspro?
Again, great actress, and she's wonderful in the role. Not to mention that, given Candy portrayed Samara as, like, the one sensible, relatable character in Season 5, it would be fun to see her try to pull off Samara's more cruel and harsh personality in Season 2. Now onto Musa's parents. Again, representation in voice acting is quite important to me. Asian representation in particular is rather lacking across media, so I wanted to make sure to give the spotlight to Asian voice actors for the rest of these characters, also including the Patchamen, Jared, and Yoshinoya. For Musa's parents, I decided to fully embrace my delusion and go with BD Wong as Obo and Ming-Na Wen for Wan-in. In other words, Musa's parents are beloved Disney couple Mulan and Shang. Let me have this!
I brought you the Sword of Shan Yu. They're gifts to honor the Fa family.
It was important to me that Musa's mother could sing, and I mean, reach for the fucking stars, kids, even if it's under a sky without moon and stars. Oh, now I'm sad! Not to mention that, and I only recently discovered this, please do not judge me or make fun of me, okay? That BD Wong is actually gay and has a husband. The gay vibes just keep surrounding themselves around Musa, and I'm living for it.
You forgot your helmet. Well, actually, it's your helmet.
Yes. Yes. Moving on to Musa's brief love interest, Jared, I went with Howard Wang, aka Whitley Schnee.
And you've been gone. I'll have you know I didn't stop growing while you were away at Beacon.
Yeah, we all know Howard's voice as the snot-nosed, stuck-up rich kid, but I think it would be pretty easy to turn that into a shy, kinda awkward performance for Jared. And now, moving on to the anime-inspired heroes and villains of Heraklion, namely, the Patchamen, aka the Ninja Hawks, aka P-Force. I don't know, but let's be real, convoluted names are just intrinsic to anime. First, we've got Sunil Malhotra as Ben.
I learned my lesson fighting you at Shang Tsung's tournament. This time, I am prepared.
Sunil voices Kung Lao in Mortal Kombat 11. A thing which I only know from Google McMoogling, thank you Super Butterbuns. But I think he can pull off Ben's naive optimism and self-righteousness as the Patchmen's leader quite well from what I've heard. Next up, Bo, the mysterious anti-hero who murders people with feather darts. And for this, I went with Kaiji Tang, aka Winkle from Tales of Xillia and Ren's father in Ruby.
It's obvious that the lands of Kresnik is the greatest threat if war breaks out.
Namely, his voice as Winkle as this brooding rogue would fit Bo to a T. Then we've got Jinpei, the self-titled smartest kid ever, and yeah, I just went with Dante Bosco for this one. I really want to hear Zuko's voice come out of this little shit. Plus, he also voiced Jake in American Dragon Jake Long, and I would say Jake's cadence could translate pretty well to Jinpei.
I don't even want to hear it. Grandpa must be bugging if he thinks he's gonna make me clean his whole house.
God, Jinpei's a little shit. And now it's time for some actors from Overwatch, because while I don't play it, Overwatch is apparently really good at making sure the voice actors' backgrounds match their respective characters, and we appreciate that in this house. We shall begin with Charlotte Chung, aka Diva, as Dunko, the Princess of Beauty.
Genji, I heard you used to have all the high scores here.
Again, I don't know the Overwatch characters that well, but Charlotte's voice to me seems like it could fit Dunko. It'd be a rather different performance from what I've heard as Diva, making it a bit deeper and more somber to fit Dunko's chill attitude, but I believe that Charlotte is capable of that. Next up, Gaku Space as Kyu, the Mighty One.
The world is changing once again, Hanzo. And it's time to pick a side.
Gaku voices Genji in Overwatch and in general seems to be an adorable cinnamon roll, so having him voice the literal robot man here, who also seems to be unofficial team mom, would be a wonderful Easter egg. And for Lord Yoshinoya, I went with Paul Nakauchi, aka Hanzo.
You are not the first assassin sent to kill me. And you will not be the last.
Yoshinoya does not get a lot of time in his one episode, but if Paul were to ham up his performance, his tone could easily suit this ridiculously overdramatic crime boss. Also, shout out to my friend Chris for introducing me to the Hanzo and Genji Overwatch short, which actually inspired these casting choices. He's also the one who got me into Kill la Kill. Yes.
You pigs in human clothing!
So, there you go. We have officially recast the first 2 seasons of Winx Club. These are actually pretty fun to make, and y'all seem to be enjoying them, so why not just keep it up? After all, like, we need something to survive quarantine, so keep your eyes peeled for a video all about Season 3 and the first movie in the next few weeks, I suppose. Or next week, we'll see what the schedule brings. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this and would like to see more content like this from me, then be sure to not only check out my other videos, but also to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications because YouTube hates creators. Also, please consider, if you are willing and able to, especially in these turbulent times, please make sure you take care of yourselves, pledging your support to myself and the channel over on Patreon. I am the Unicorn of War, and fuck 2020.